What do we do when the ground beneath us won't stay still? In The Light We Carry, former First Lady Michelle Obama hands us a flashlight, clear, warm, and deeply practical, for navigating personal and collective uncertainty. Section 1. Picking up the flashlight. Origin of the light. Michelle Obama opens her book by naming the darkness, those moments when fear, self-doubt, and societal division feel overwhelming, and then promptly reminds us that every one of us owns a portable beam of hope. Her earliest batteries were installed on the south side of Chicago, in a crowded apartment where love was reliable, even when money was not. She recalls her parents' mantra of "look up, look out," urging young Michelle to lift her chin, survey the world, and imagine herself active within it. Key story. A grade school guidance counselor once told her she was not Princeton material, a statement sharp enough to nick the self-confidence of any teenager. Yet it forged her understanding that light can be born from friction. Rather than dim, she charted a meticulous application strategy, enlisted teachers as allies, and marched herself straight to Princeton. This personal anecdote becomes the book's foundational metaphor. We can't always quiet external naysayers, but we can decide whether they get to aim the beam of our flashlight. Embedded in these recollections is a lesson about origin stories. Obama insists that our beginnings are not excuses or limitations. They are root systems carrying nutrients upward. She invites listeners to excavate formative moments, both joyful and painful, to identify the sparks that first taught them resilience. By honoring the place we start from, we increase the wattage of whatever light we later project. Throughout the opening section, she introduces a central practice that will echo across the rest of the book. Inventory your tools. Whether it's a grandmother's proverb, a college roommate who cheered your wildest ambitions, or a half-remembered church hymn, name what carries you when the power grid flickers. She argues that clarity of our personal toolkit gives us something sturdier than optimism. It grants strategy. Before the first chapter closes, listeners are nudged to pause and draft a quick mental list of 3 experiences that prove they've survived darkness before. The flashlight is already in your hand. You just need to remember where you last placed the batteries. Section 2. Working the knob. Practical skills for grounding. If Section 1 explains why light matters, Section 2 is the instruction manual for adjusting its brightness. Obama believes big ideals, hope, empathy, democracy, must ride on the back of micro-habits. She illustrates this through a daily regimen she adopted during her White House years when the stakes of every decision felt monumental. The first tool, starting kind. Each morning, she greets herself with non-negotiable kindness, sometimes through journaling, other days by blasting Stevie Wonder while brushing her teeth. She underscores a research-backed truth. Self-compassion boosts motivation more effectively than self-critique. A compelling vignette shows her in a hotel gym at 5 a.m., jet-lagged and cranky, choosing to walk instead of run on the treadmill. Forward is forward, she tells herself, a phrase listeners can pocket for their own sluggish dawns. The second knob turner is the kitchen table. It's less a piece of furniture and more a metaphor for curated community. Obama describes an emergency text thread among lifelong friends who serve as her reality check. The rule, radical honesty, zero judgment. When negative headlines called her an angry black woman, that table steadied her. She challenges us to identify at least 2 individuals who will tell us the truth gently and keep us tethered during emotional storms. Third, she tackles the anxiety of multiplicity, the feeling that we must carry every identity perfectly all at once. She recalls juggling mother, lawyer, first lady, and black woman, while critics dissected her hair, tone, and workout routine. Her solution is a practice she labels the balance myth bust. She pictures life less like a scale and more like a set of pulsing equalizer bars on a stereo. Some bars rise while others dip, but the song keeps playing. Accepting this dynamic motion frees us from the paralysis of perfection. By the close of section 2, listeners have collected a pocketful of portable rituals, a morning vote of confidence, a circle of candid allies, and a reframed view of balance. Obama's voice is equal parts coach and confidant, insisting that the path to large-scale impact is paved with ankle-level steps. Section 3, Shining Outward, Relationships, Parenting and Partnership Light, by nature, casts outward, and here Obama widens the beam. She dives into the terror and tenderness of parenting two daughters beneath a global spotlight. Her confession, even with Secret Service agents on the driveway, she couldn't shield Malia and Sasha from adolescent self-consciousness or a rapidly polarizing internet culture. What she could do was model vulnerability. She recounts family dinners where each person had to share a thorn, hard moment, and a rose, joyful win of their day. The ritual taught her girls that discomfort and delight can coexist, equipping them to navigate high school hallways and later college campuses. Transitioning to romantic partnership, Obama lays bare the myth of the fairy tale marriage. She reveals that even she and Barack needed marriage counseling after the Senate campaign strained their connection. Therapy became less about fixing what was broken and more about refining communication, learning to state needs without apology. She coins the phrase, marriage is a duet, played on two separate instruments, reminding listeners that harmony requires both solo practice and joint rehearsal. A broader social message pulses through these personal narratives. Sustained relationships are built on the courage to be seen. Whether it's a child, spouse, or co-worker, our light invites others to reveal their shadows. Obama underscores this with a story from the 2016 election aftermath when she visited an elementary school. A shy girl whispered, "I'm scared." Instead of offering immediate reassurance, Obama crouched to eye level and admitted, "Me too, sometimes." The child's shoulders loosened, proof that proximity plus honesty can metabolize fear. She extends the principle to civic life, urging listeners to practice small p politics, acts of neighborliness, and local engagement that feel manageable compared to the enormity of national discourse. Volunteering at a food pantry, mentoring a student, or even attending a town hall meeting can amplify collective brightness. The section closes with an invitation. Choose one relationship this week and experiment with sharing a vulnerability, then watch how the other person's posture changes in the glow. Section 4. Guarding the glow, confronting fear and cultivating hope. Obama reserves her most urgent counsel for this penultimate stretch. Light is precious, therefore it must be protected. She enumerates modern-day dimmers, doom scrolling, perfectionism, and polarization, then equips us with countermeasures. First, she introduces the four-question filter for consuming news and social media. 1. Is it true? 2. Is it helpful? 3. Is it kind? 4. Is it mine to carry right now? If content fails 2 or more tests, she either sets a timer for exposure or scrolls away entirely. The filter, she confesses, rescued her sanity during the pandemic when misinformation spread faster than any virus. Second, she addresses fear head-on, framing it as biological data rather than a moral failing. A vivid recounting of her first solo book tour after the White House illustrates this. Minutes before stepping on stage, she felt the old urge to shrink. Instead, She activated what she calls the three-part shoulder roll. Breathe, ground feet, lift chin. Physiologically telling her body she was safe allowed her intellect and humor to flow. She prompts listeners to identify a simple physical ritual that can escort them through moments of acute dread, be it a shoulder roll, fingertip tapping, or a quiet mantra. Third, Obama turns to hope, which she distinguishes from blind positivity. Hope, in her definition, is a muscle strengthened through use. She cites voting as both a right and a workout, each ballot cast proving we still believe collective action matters. She recalls standing in line alongside first-time voters in 2020, handing out snacks and elbow bumps. The energy, she says, felt like daytime fireworks, brief, bright, undeniable. Finally, she circles back to the central metaphor of carrying. Lights aren't only held, they're passed. Obama references the legacy of civil rights leaders who marched with literal torches so that future generations could hold diplomas, ballots, and steering wheels. She urges listeners to identify whom they are lighting the path for: children, nieces, community members, and to remember that purpose reinforces endurance. By this section's end, we have a working toolkit, a 4-question media filter, a physiological fear disruptor, a definition of active hope, and a generational lens that transforms personal wellness into collective stewardship.